Speaking of internal drama, it's not just our side currently at the moment. It's massive on the lib side of the aisle, and it's been going on at a much greater length and a much higher level than I think anything that we've seen. Libs are at each other's throats on how to regain the confidence of the American people. I wish for their failure, but you never know. Maybe they'll pull it together. Part of the people that are trying to pull it together are libs that I happen to disagree with, you probably happen to disagree with as well, but at least are honest and fair in their assessments. And then there's the other libs that just lie about everything. Well, two of those people clash. Charlemagne the God, maybe you don't like him. I at least think that he's trying to be fair. He's kind of like a Bill Maher type of person. And then Eric Swalwell, who is just a degenerate liar. Congressman Fang Fang, as I affectionately call him sometimes. Watch this back and forth and then clip from the show that they had. Let's bring Stephen Gardner back in, our guest for today. Stephen, I want to play you this clip from Charlemagne the God and Eric Swalwell, and then what Charlemagne said after that interview on a podcast. Watch this.
I just finished reading the original sin. So when I hear you talk, I'm like, well, what was the Democrats' excuse when they chose to be accomplices in the cover-up of Biden's physical and mental decline? It's the same thing. Y'all did the same. Y'all got on television and pretended to act like everything was fine, knowing behind the scenes he was not the one.
Well, I don't think many of us were behind the scenes, to be
that.
honest. I mean, I didn't spend much time with President Biden behind the scenes. I wasn't.
I didn't spend no time with him at all.
Yeah.
But
And you saw. I get it.
I seen it immediately. You know what I mean?
You had your two eyes. I got it. I got it.
Anybody that wants to be the future of the party has to throw the Biden shit under the bus. Now, Eric and all of these guys will be like, well, we didn't know. You got to cut it the out.
Isn't it your job to know? Aren't you journalists? Aren't you the
you're
media?
actually around him.
Stephen, I think the biggest contention is, okay, well, if you didn't know, how did I know? I am not a congressman. I am not of the president's party, and I and everyone around me knew. How did that happen? And what are your thoughts here on kind of the semi-honest libs versus the crazy, just lying their pants off libs?
I mean, I like Charlemagne the God. He and I agree on very little, but I appreciate his authenticity and his truthfulness. He just said it right there. If you want to be a future part of this party, you've got to tell the truth. You can't keep being a part of the cover-up. I've been saying that Biden was cognitively declined since the summer of 2020. Eric Swalwell has continued to pretend that he was a mental gymnastic, that he was a genius, that he was Elon Musk was sitting at his feet receiving wisdom, right? Like pearls of wisdom were dripping out of his mouth. It was just the opposite of that. And so I think Charlemagne and his co-host are saying, listen, if you're this intelligent member of Congress with all this inside information, how did somebody like me see that you guys were lying, that this guy was mentally deficient? That's a really big deal. So I say kudos to him for calling this guy out and telling the truth.
Charlemagne at the beginning of that clip said he just finished Original Sin. Do you buy that? Do you think he actually read the entire book? I'm just curious of your opinion.
So he may have had an assistant read it and highlight the major parts and then hand that over to him. That is something that I know some people do. But I mean, he could also just be watching Jake Tapper make a fool of himself going around saying, even I didn't see it. Like, you guys were part of the cover up. How did you not see it? So on the one hand, they either have to look stupid or they have to lie. And it looks like they prefer to lean into looking stupid instead of being called a liar. But I mean, Charlemagne the God, this is the same person that Joe Biden said, if you don't vote Democrat, then you ain't black. Like, what does my skin color have to do with participating in lying? So it's disrespectful. Kudos to Charlemagne for calling Eric Swalwell to the carpet.
Yeah, I have so many thoughts on how I would like the libs to proceed. And part of that, though, is elevating the dumber in their party to the highest levels. The more we get Eric Swalwell, Jasmine Crockett, AOC to just talk, the easier it makes our job of convincing people that conservative values is the way to go. So I don't know. Good. Keep trying, Eric. You'll get there eventually. So we've all been talking about the Biden auto pen, and I'm sure you have thoughts about the fake signature from the president. Well, Pam Bondi in the Justice Department is looking into the pardons that were signed Turns out, according to a Fox report, he only signed one particular pardon in the last couple weeks, and that was Hunter's, which, okay, so he also pardoned Mark Milley, Fauci, a bunch of the January 6th people. What does that mean to you that there was only one pardon that he signed officially, I guess, with his own hand? I don't know. Does that mean that the rest are negated? Why did he make that decision, just that one? And is there a difference in your opinion?
I mean, it may have been nostalgic. Hey, this is my one and only son. I'm going to go ahead and sign that. He may have also known, wait a minute, just in case the rest of these don't hold up. I mean, I'm forgiving Chinese spies, pedophiles, rapists, rappers, all kinds of people. I'm going to make sure that this one is solid. So I'm going to sign it myself. But I believe that Ed Martin is going to challenge these. I believe that Pam Bondi is going to challenge these. I'm really hoping. I mean, I saw that Kash Patel was just on the Joe Rogan show, and he said that they just found a bunch of information that Dr. Fauci was hiding, and now the FBI is going to be combing through all of that. So some of these other names that received the fake mechanical auto pen signature, I would be lawyering up if it were me.
Yeah, well, and you make a great point. Like, hey, if he thought, well, I need to get this, make sure this one, my son Hunter, this one counts. Okay, well, does that mean you think the other ones had a potential of not counting because they were not open? Like, it's all open ended there. And you mentioned Ed Martin, which is what I interested. Great transition, by the way. Maybe you should do a show or some kind. But speaking of Ed Martin, the gal who spit in his face, we'll play you the video in just a second, was arrested, released on bail, and now Judge Jeanine Pirro is saying, hey, she should go back to jail because of something she did. Watch this. This was Ed Martin doing an interview with Newsmax, and he got spit in the face by a crazy lunatic.
And so we need to get really focused. How you doing? Oh, whoa.
You are a disgusting man.
Seems like an absolute peach there. Just what a joy to be around. So this lady was released from jail on bond, but with the order and the contingency, okay, well, you can't contact Ed Martin at all. She then, in the next couple of days, tweeted some pretty nasty things, and I guess we don't have time to read it all, but it basically says, F you, I can't provide for myself, the city seized things because, or the government seized things because I'm being charged with assault, and F you, F you, F you on Twitter. Jeanine Pirro, who replaced Ed Martin in his job as a U.S. attorney, said, hey, hold on, you're violating your bail here, and I think this Lib is about to learn the hard way that, hey, you can't act as if there are no consequences for anything.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this lady needs to be handcuffed with the guy who figured out the loophole in New York on going to jail, right? And just spend 100 days with him. It's amazing to me how people don't believe in consequences. If you do something, there is consequences. It could be a positive consequence. It could be a negative one. But what do you think is going to happen when you spit in the face of any attorney, let alone the guy that was in the news being touted as the person that could get things done in Washington, D.C.? You now spit in his face and then say he's the disgusting person. So a lot of these people, they want to escape consequence, but they still want to continue to behave like terrible people. I think Judge Pirro was wise to try and go after this person harsher.
Yeah, it's anger isn't an argument, Libs. Just because you're angry doesn't mean you just get to do anything you want and absolve yourself of any sort of wrongdoing. There was a bill that got passed, bipartisan ish, to ban TikTok. President Trump is likely set, according to, I believe, the New York Post and a bunch of Wall Street officials that are working on buying TikTok. It's believed that President Trump is going to delay the deadline yet again. What do you think the kind of future of TikTok is going to be, especially now with the China tariffs, the fact that Xi Jinping and President Trump are in communication now? What do you kind of see as the trajectory of TikTok by law being sold to an American company?
Well, I think you have a couple of things going on behind the scenes. So let me just throw this out there. You've got President Trump, who believes that TikTok led to him capturing more of the youth vote, younger adult vote, than he would have got. So on the one hand, he's kind of partial towards it. It's got a piece of his heart. Barron Trump likes that. On the other hand, you have members of Congress. They've got most of their retirement inside of Facebook. And so there's this internal battle of, if I can get rid of TikTok, it boosts Facebook and my stock portfolio goes up. And then you've got the sitting president going, hey, I kind of like this. It's fun. Maybe it's not a Chinese spy tool. So it'll be really interesting. My guess is they're going to kick the can down the road, and they're just going to give it another 75 to 90 days.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most likely thing that's going to happen. Interesting kind of fun fact, and I'm curious if this surprises you at all. To my understanding, during the election, there were 2 Trump TikToks that had TikTok accounts that were like the biggest in the world. And then number 3 was Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk beat out Taylor Swift, Kim Kardashian as the number 3 during the election cycle, which in my opinion, I think drove a lot of younger voters to the polls for President Trump. But I don't know, that was a shocking thing that I learned that, I don't know, it's fascinating.
I don't know how Charlie Kirk is able to stay on there. I've been kicked off TikTok twice for being a bully. They said that I, Stephen Gardner, bullied CNN, the news network, for saying, how dare you guys say that inflation isn't affecting my wallet? It's my wallet. And then I got accused of being a bully to CNN.
You know, in their defense, I think you have probably quadruple the viewership. So, you know, there is that.
CNN sent in a note. They're like, hey, this guy's doing better than us in his basement on a broken iPhone. We got to shut it down.
Yeah, I could see that happening because legacy media is dying and CNN is digging themselves their own grave. So maybe it was bullying because you're substantially a bigger platform than than the airport news.